This video serves as a deep dive examining the gameplay of LeBron James and Michael Jordan against the Charlotte Hornets, both at age 38. The play-by-play analysis with footage is linked below, but this video is just going into crunching the stats. First, why this game? Well, it seems fitting because LeBron and MJ both played the Hornets when they were 38 and both had big nights. And because LeBron was freshly 38, the announcers and analysts wouldn't stop talking about the fact that he scored 43 at age 38. So with all this buzz in my ear, naturally, I wondered what 38-year-old MJ looked like when he had a big night against the Hornets. For LeBron apologists, who by default just call this hating, let me tell you, this is me being more than fair to LeBron. Trust me, if I was picking on him and choosing the exact games I wanted in order to lower LeBron while boosting MJ, it wouldn't be these two games. This was actually a pretty good game for LeBron by his standards. I could have gone with when he had a negative 17 or when he shot 36% on 19 with 3 turnovers, or any of the multiple nights he shot 0 for 7 from 3. LeBron has been under 50% for regular field goal attempts 10 times already this season. And considering most of his shots are right at the rim, that's really saying something. So no, this is not a game chosen to pick on LeBron James. As for MJ, instead of this 51-point game, I'd actually much rather show his 45-point game against the Nets only 2 nights after this one, because he absolutely humiliated Richard Jefferson while showing the full arsenal. Threes, dunks, mid-ranges, turnarounds, up and unders, all of it. Maybe this is why Richard Jefferson is such a LeBron suck-up during his career as an announcer. Either game, MJ's 51 or his 45, are both higher totals than LeBron's, so I chose the game where they played the same opponent. And if you recall, LeBron sat out the next game after this one, avoiding Jimmy Butler and the Heat, but coming back against the lowly Hawks. For Jordan, it was the very next game on the schedule, 2 nights later, that he followed up his 51 by scoring 45 against a title contender. After LeBron's 43, he skipped the game, getting him 4 days of rest, only to return against a bottom-ranking team and scoring 25. Unlike LeBron, who takes so many nights off, MJ played every game of the season. LeBron sitting out gave him 4 days to refresh, whereas instead of seeking time off, Jordan chose to face the finals contending Nets, as well as every opponent, every game of the season. That's what a man does. No nights off, no fear, no avoiding a finals contender. Let's talk some age asterisks. MJ was 50 days from his 39th birthday. LeBron was 3 days into being 38. In other words, LeBron was closer to being 37 and MJ was closer to being 39. But I kid you not, the moment LeBron turned 38, his fans started saying, "Look what he's doing at age 39. After all, they've been calling LeBron 38 since mid-season of him being 37. Anyway, here's the math. LeBron's birthday is December 30th. That means 1 day left in 2022 for LeBron after his birthday. Then he played Charlotte 2 days later in 2023. MJ's birthday is February 17th, so MJ's game was December 29th. That means there were 2 days left in 2001 for MJ. There were 31 days in January of 2002 and 17 days into February of 2002 when he turned 39, which is where I got the 50 days from being 39. Now subtract 1 day of 2022 that LeBron was still 37 from the total of 50, and you have 49. 365 days in a year minus 49 means MJ was 316 days older than LeBron at the time of this game comparison. He was also playing full minutes and played every game of the season, like an actual man. I beat that stat to death, and old school fans like me don't care if someone is 300 days older than someone, but the way that they analyze stats these days and make excuses, I thought I'd better include it. just to be safe. Let's examine the opponent, the Hornets. When Michael Jordan played, the Hornets were 13-17. That's not great, but it's certainly better than the 10-27 Hornets that LeBron faced. Plus minus column. MJ finished with a plus 24. LeBron finished with a plus 9. Michael Jordan had a point total of 51. LeBron a point total of 43. Because I see so many weird, fickle statistics trying to favor LeBron James, such as that he already has 2 40-plus point games at age 38, well, let me show you how this can be played the other direction. LeBron has 0 45-plus point games. Next, let's examine the possibility of stat padding. Michael Jordan sat with 3 minutes left to go in the game. You can't claim that he was stat padding when someone sits that early in a game. In fact, his last shot attempt came with 4:08 left in the game. He could have kept stat padding, but he didn't. By contrast, LeBron stayed in the entire game. Personally, I've always liked underdogs, which is part of why I actually cheered against Jordan during his second three-peat. Underdogs usually indicate the smaller player who simply has to be better to beat the bigger guys. 6'6" MJ rose up and shot over 6'8" Stacey Augmon, 7' Eldon Campbell, 6'11" PJ Brown, 6'9" Lee Nailon, and others. His primary defenders were both taller than him. There's a little bit of debate about whether LeBron is 250 or 260 or somewhere in between, but in any case, 6'9" LeBron bulldozed through 6'9" McDaniels, 6'1" Rozier, 6'7" Ball, and 6'7" Hayward. LeBron outweighs everyone on the entire Hornets team. Depending on true weight, you might argue that center Mason Plumlee and LeBron are about the same weight, which would mean the only person in LeBron's weight range is Charlotte's center. Rest. Today I hear announcers and analysts constantly talking about the need to rest, or if a player is coming up short on his shots, it's attributed to fatigue and too many games in that week. I could go into a downward spiral talking about and wondering about why today's athletes need more rest than yesterday's athletes, but instead, let's just look at MJ and LeBron and their games surrounding the Charlotte game. Well, MJ is easy. He didn't take a single night off, which means his only rest came in the form of the rest that came naturally with the schedule. And if we applied today's drama to that sort of commitment, we would hear announcers saying 20 times in a game how amazing it was that he's able to play so much, especially at this age. By contrast, today, announcers and analysts either avoid talking about LeBron taking nights off or find ways to justify it. While I'm making this video, over the last 6 games, LeBron has sat out 2 of those, with what has become a standby excuse of ankle soreness. Sometimes this gives him up to 4 consecutive days of rest between games. Now, I am old enough to finally understand that this really matters. I know what it's like to take a day or 2 off and then go back out on the basketball court, whereas when I was younger, it just didn't seem to matter. So with leg fatigue in mind, watching MJ shoot these jump shots over and over and over is more impressive to me than ever. Which leads to the final element to factor in, the manner by which they scored. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I have certain feelings about LeBron scoring so many shots at the rim, so many layups, so many alley-oops. Now, if anyone thinks that a 2-time dunk champion, nicknamed Air Jordan, couldn't still dunk at this stage in his career, well, you're just being foolish. But instead of that, MJ displayed a wide arsenal of skills, usually having to create his own shot rather than just standing, waiting for the pass, and then shooting. The vast majority of LeBron's points came right at the rim in the form of layups and alley-oops, many of these completely uncontested. If you count every layup or alley-oop attempt by LeBron James in that game, including the ones where he missed and got fouled and got to go to the free throw line, there are 16. 16. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with making high percentage shots, but there is something wrong with acting like making easy buckets deserves awe and praise. I say this from the perspective of someone who isn't a particularly amazing outside shooter, who instead resorts to making layups. It's an easier shot. If we played a pickup game and my contribution to the team was to wait for the other team to forget I was even out there, then cut to the bucket, yeah, you'd be glad I scored those points. But none of you would start calling me the best player on the team because I could cut and make a layup. Can you imagine Mike just standing at the top of the key, watching the offense and waiting for an opportunity, waiting for the teammates to create something that would give him a scoring opportunity? Points in the form of free throws. Yes, MJ has had his fair share of calls in his favor over his career, but nothing like LeBron. The number of times LeBron just bulldozes while expecting and receiving a bailout whistle has really tarnished the game. Here are 2 screenshots from the game analysis that I've finished. Both players got a foul on these plays. But do you see a difference? Then there's the flopping to get extra points, extra trips to the foul line, or to get the other team in foul trouble. There's just nothing respectable about that. But in addition to phantom fouls, bailouts, and other bad calls, LeBron also pads the point column with free throws in yet another way. Despite being a poor free throw shooter, LeBron gets to shoot technical fouls for the Lakers and gets to shoot the take fouls, also known as intentional fouls. Talk about stat padding. Look at the end of the Charlotte game. With 26 seconds left, LeBron goes to the foul line 3 more times before the end of the game for a total of 6 more point attempts, all between 26 seconds and 0 seconds. By contrast, MJ had already been sitting for 3 minutes. 9 players on the Lakers have a higher free throw shooting percentage than LeBron James. 9. Yet LeBron gets chosen to shoot the techs or to hold the ball when they know the intentional foul is coming. That's just crazy. That's someone getting trips to the foul line without even making a play, and the coach ignoring the fact that your best chance to win is to put someone else on the foul line. They are hurting their own chances to win by helping LeBron James achieve a scoring record. Is he earning the scoring title, or is it being given to him? Conduct, the way a player composes himself on the court. Despite MJ having a really dreadful team, he actually seemed very patient with his teammates, even encouraging. I did not see any of the antics that you see from LeBron James at age 38. And regarding referees, even though MJ actually kind of got screwed a couple of times in this game, I didn't see any carrying on, any jumping up and down, any screaming in the face. And even though this isn't actual gameplay, I do think it matters because it reflects on just how things are changing. You can whine, you can complain, you can pout, you can make excuses, you can flop, and it just doesn't matter. This type of behavior was once considered unacceptable and embarrassing. One more general note. After watching both of these games several times, I'm just a little bit stunned at how much standing there is in today's game. Yes, of course, I pointed out how much LeBron stands, but kind of everybody stood. There was a lot of standing and then suddenly sprinting and then going back to standing. The game, despite today's supposedly superior athletes, and I'm not saying that they are or aren't because they certainly look physically intimidating, but the game just looks kind of slow and lazy. I don't know. You tell me. You watch the amount of hustle, even in 2001 compared to 2023. I thought I saw all 10 guys on the court moving a lot more back then. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Let me know what I missed. Let me know if there are any stats you think I should have included in this video. And make sure to watch the actual gameplay breakdown where I go back and forth between LeBron James and Michael Jordan when they played the Charlotte Hornets, both at age 38. An upload which I had to break into 2 parts, the first half and the second half, because uploading the entire breakdown kept getting blocked by YouTube. Enjoy, like, subscribe. I appreciate you watching.